You know, I was thinking about this idea of design thinking. There is, if you're in the design field, there is something that is very, very um, predominant methodology of design, which is called design thinking. And design thinking basically is pretty um, powerful because it allows people to think um, in a kind of innovative way. How do you create something new? How do you make decisions about solving a problem? Okay, and there's many techniques for that, and design thinking kind of like puts them all together into one methodology. And basically it says like you first start by defining what you want to do. Like you have to know what am I doing. Then you have to go into finding different examples. And then you have to go ask people, like, what do you guys think about it? What is the problem? You have to extract knowledge from other people in order to find what the problem that you're looking for is. And then you do some prototype, you do some tricks to test it, to materialize it. And then you ask people again, what is it, if it's good or not. And eventually at the end you come up with a solution to the problem. And that could be any design problem, including, from a thing, like you make a cup, a new cup. So you have to think about how a new cup will be produced by thinking about problems that don't exist, or you make these problems to exist. But again, always in design thinking, you're talking to other people, okay? So your client, for example, is a human, right? And your designers or your team of designers are all humans. True. The problem, though, is that in the next years, with the advancement of AI, we're not going to have humans anymore. Human is not going to be the center of attention, okay? As sad as it sounds, we're already seeing it, that, when you do certain tasks, human is not important anymore, right? You can actually create illustrations without a human. You can create text sometimes without a human, right? So the problem that we see in the future is that you're going to be faced with non-human problems or non-human systems. So in order for us as designers to face the future, we have to start thinking not in terms of human, but in terms of machine. In other words, how do I convince, how do I face the machine? Now the machine is not something that is human. So a lot of things related to human interaction, like empathy, like sympathy, like understanding, like asking, these things don't work anymore, right? Because how are you going to ask the machine, how do you feel? You can ask an AI system, do you feel good today? It doesn't work, right? So you have to find something else. But at the same time, AI produces also some, if you like, non-moral things, non-moral decisions, right? They can do things that are replacing us as human, or sometimes they can make evil decisions, like drones that actually attack people, or cyber attacks, stuff like that, right? Which is very dangerous, if you like. So if you're a human and you want to face that, or to convince the machine not to do evil things, you have to hack it. You have to go into it and change it. You have to do things that normally in normal life we call them unethical, right? So for example, if I want to destroy a cyber system, I have to, for example, I have to use another cyber system to attack that one. Or I have to get inside that system and put a virus into it, right? Or I have to, and these things are bad things in the human world. Like, for example, if you give a virus to a person, you kill that. If you're a doctor and you give a virus to a person, that's a bad thing. Or if you have two people fight with one another and produce, let's say, a war, that's not a good thing too, in the human world. But in the world of machines, it's not the same thing. So all of a sudden, we have a reverse of morality. What used to be ethical is not ethical anymore. What was not ethical is very ethical now. So design thinking has to be replaced with a new way of thinking, which I would call AI design thinking, if you want, just for simplicity, but we can find a better word. And that is going to be something that we have to teach to the students, specifically to the kids, because the kids of the future are going to be the ones who are going to be faced with these kind of challenges. As we say, the challenge of hacking a system, the challenge of destroying or preventing a cyber attack or something of that nature, or even more simple, or more not simple, but less evil ways of, like, going against or helping a system to become more smart than us, or making replacing a lot of mundane works that people do using machines, right? But you have to make the machine do that thing. You have to actually use a new way of moral thinking. So design thinking of the future has to incorporate these things. Now, one of the main ideas that I was having was that this facing the system, the AI system, is very similar to the ancient mythology of the hero who is trying to face the monster. Okay, and in classical Greek mythology, if you like, not classical, but old in Greek mythology, including Chinese mythology, there is this idea of the hero. And the hero is a person who is going to go and do something impossible, right? He's going to go and kill a monster that is impossible to find. It's invisible, like something that is of a strange nature, right? And that requires a different type of hero than the Hollywood is presenting to us in the world that we live today. In that world, the hero is usually somebody who's violent, somebody who is actually using a machine gun to kill people. It's like completely stupid, but that's the way it is. And that doesn't work. If you're in a world where you are, for example, how are you going to kill a AI system? What, with a machine gun? Of course not. So you have to find different ways. You have to know what the system is doing, how it works, what is the vulnerable parts of that system, how to lie to it, how to pretend to be somebody you're not, how to go around it, how to open the hood and rewire it. These things, again, even in a monster, right? In a monster, in order for you to beat the monster, you have to actually pretend to be somebody else, right? So it doesn't think that you're the one who's going to attack it. Or you have to use a different name for yourself. You call yourself nobody, so the machine doesn't know who it's talking to. Or you use some trick. Many stories in ancient mythology have this kind of like techniques. And these techniques will be very, very important in the future, because as unethical as they might sound, they're very ethical in the world of AI. And in that world of systems, I think that would be the next step for AI design thinking.